Hello and welcome to the next episode of Console Clash from Cubed 3. I've got Sandy Kirchner-Wilson.
Hey.
And I've got Luke Hemming.
Hello.
And we are going today to talk about the appearance of both the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series consoles. We're going to talk about how they're suitable for the living room or general use. And we're going to talk about the variants of them and how each of those slightly look a little bit different. Let's go straight into the Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S. Luke, you've got a little bit more to talk about. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think they're slightly more unique, let's say, compared to the Sony offerings. Go on, you take it away. Just tell me everything about about the Xbox Series consoles.
So, Series S looks like one of those intercoms.
Or a speaker, as some people have called it.
Yeah. Was not impressed with the Series X, I've got to be honest. The S. I've got an X myself. One of the decisions for getting the X was the look of it compared to the S. They didn't take many chances, I don't think. But I don't think that's a bad thing. This was the console that was going to be in my living room at all times. And I really like the idea that there's just a little box in the corner. Well, I say little. Little is a massive understatement. A huge box, but it's a huge black square box that can be tucked away, does what it needs to do. Nobody is going to go near that. Nobody is going to comment on its design aesthetics. It does the job. It's practical, but that probably is the best I can say about the designs. Not a fan of the Series S design at all, but I do like how small it is.
From an appearance point of view, comparing it to the original OG Xbox 360 and the Xbox One variants, do they stack up? At least the X. Do you think the X looks great side by side with those consoles, or do you think the previous generation Xbox was better?
I think there's been a steady choice throughout all the generations. I think all of those consoles will look nicely next to each other, and you can kind of see that design improvement. Okay, we've always got a box, but that box has undergone some changes, but we'll always stick with a nice black, sleek little number. Not sleek. Sleek is totally the wrong word. Chunky.
I mean, it's got edges. I mean,
yeah. A big, chunky box. You know what you're getting. You get a nice black box.
The Xbox Series S is quite sleek.
It is.
It's
and
small.
It's white.
And it's white. But it is small. It is. I would consider the Xbox Series S sleek.
I feel like the S was designed by somebody completely in a room shut off somewhere from everyone else who'd ever designed an Xbox. Wow. Who thought we should improve these features. Let's make this way. We can make it vertical. And this guy's just gone, here's an S. How cool is this? Look, it's got a big speaker on it. And they went, yeah, that's fine, but make it white so we can distinguish it. We don't have to put it next to our nice new ones.
Just in case anyone is confused, the Xbox Series S does not contain a speaker on it. It is a fan, but it does look like a large speaker. I'll give you that. Now, in comparison, Sandy, the PS5, you probably have a little bit less to talk about here in terms of the difference between the digital edition and the disc edition. Take us through that story and what.
So, from Xbox, you've got the fridge and the VHS player, if you go back to the one. And from PlayStation, you've got the sandwich stack, which was the PS4, and now you've got the air conditioning unit that is the PS5. The PS5 is a very interesting design. When they first announced it, I thought it was horrendous. I really bounced off it. I was like, don't know if I want that in my house. But now that I've actually had it, and it's been in my house as part of my game setup, it's really grown on me, actually. I think the uniqueness of the PS5 design helps it stand out against, say, the black box console market. So you've got your little boxy Xboxies, or you've got your monolithic PS5 next to your TV.
What about the size
I much prefer it standing up. Horizontal is unusual, and I've had to change that for my new TV stand, which, standing up it looks best, for sure.
In terms of the size in your display unit or wherever you keep them, standing it up, is it a practical thing?
Yes. So the console, when it's standing, is extremely tall. I mean, I have a 55-inch TV, and the PS5 comes up to over a third of its height, which is
It's a
absolutely
lot of
mental.
inches.
Yeah. I would tell you exactly, but I don't have the stats with me.
I'll flash it up on screen somehow.
But definitely lying it sideways, it will fit nicely in most shelves. And you can maybe even squeeze your PSVR next to it whenever that comes out.
So practicality wise, Luke, tell me how you put an Xbox onto its side. Like, what do you need to do?
That
Just have in mind that people aren't going to be watching this. So
okay, so your Xbox is vertical. Grasp firmly both sides of your Xbox and turn it on its side.
and that's all you have to do.
Yeah, you're done then.
Fantastic. And there's little rubber stoppers on both sides, so when you want to turn it vertically and horizontally, and then obviously then Sandy must be just as easy with the PlayStation.
Well, so the PS5 comes with a stand that you have to use whether you're horizontal or vertical because of the design of the console. It's not flat on any side. Attaching it to the bottom to the vertical stand, absolutely fine, nice and stable, screwed in. It's not going to move. Turn it horizontal, however, you have to unscrew it from the bottom of the console if you put it there. You put the screw inside a little hole in the stand. You twist the stand round. On the back of the console, there's little PlayStation symbols. You line up your clips with that, clip the console into it, and then you put it down somewhere. But then you forget that it's not actually screwed into the console itself, and you knock the console, and then you have to do the whole process again. So I would say it's a bit labor intensive. It looks fine, and they gave you all the stuff for it, but it's not exactly just grabbing the console and turning it horizontal.
I think I'm being a little bit harsh here in terms of the way I've phrased that, because I'm being quite biased towards one or the other. But the long and short of it is, once you've got it set up in your entertainment center or at home, wherever you're putting it, you're not likely to keep chopping and changing it, whether you want to turn it on its side or whatever. So I don't think it's a huge issue. It's definitely inconvenient for people who do move their consoles around for whatever reason. But it is a bit.
No. I mean, at least they provide it all with very clear instructions. You're not left wondering, how do I make my PlayStation 5 actually stand up without overheating?
I have had that issue that you're talking about though, Sandy. I've literally put it in and it fits in the cabinet perfectly, like you said. Looking at your cabinet, I think we have the same cabinet as well. So it's in. There's a bit of leeway either side, but I have knocked it, and I've had to redo the whole thing again, just because that stand is not in there. So as long as you're not messing with it, but it's so easy to put your hand on it while you put a disc in or something, and it never feels too safe. Always feels like it's going to go.
Speaking of discs, I hope we're willing to cover the subject of, do you feel like your PS5 disc goes in upside down?
I mean, you tell me.
Horizontally, it's fine. It makes sense. Your disc picture faces up towards you. Absolutely. Console standing up, your disc faces towards all the internals, which feels counterintuitive. You feel like the disc picture should be facing out from the console, not into the console. And I did find myself putting my discs in the wrong way around the first time I put a disc in.
What happens when you put a disc in the wrong way around?
Well, not much. It just goes, I can't read that, and spits it back out. Okay. But yeah, the first time you do it, you're like, what? Now,
one of the things we noticed, and I have to say, with my PlayStation 5, this has stopped happening since launch, but the fan was incredible. I'll see if I can get the video up of my fan. I sent a video to you guys, I don't know if you remember, back in November.
I can still hear it.
Yeah, I'm just going to play it, hopefully. But Sandy, in terms of the fan noise of the PlayStation 5, do you still recognize it? Do you hear that? Have you just nulled it out, or
fan sound totally silent? Can't say my PlayStation's actually ever made a recognizable audible noise while it's playing games. The only real noise is from the disk drive, I think, to be honest, which can be quite gratingly loud when it's first loading up a PS4 game or something like that. But
and Luke, what about you? In terms of the Xbox Series X, are we quite loud there?
No, I can't. I can honestly put my hand up and say that I've heard nothing from it.
Even when the disc is going?
I've got both, and in comparison to a PS4 load-in, yeah, it's minimal, and it's a lot shorter as well. That initial whir, yeah.
The Xbox Series S is absolutely whisper quiet, by the way. Can't hear a thing. Does get a little bit warm to touch, I think, but I'm not really touching it very often. But I think I'm just looking at my entertainment center as I'm saying. It's like the ventilation is probably not that great the way I've got it set up, but it should be fine enough. There's enough space there to have that going. But the PS5 unfortunately has to go on top of the entertainment center because it can't fit either horizontally or vertically in there. So it has to go on top of it. All right, and so let's chalk this up to a point here. The appearance of the console, suitability for the living room, the design, the noise of the fan, the heat, and the variety of variants that we've got here, whether it be the Xbox Series S, X, or PS5 digital edition versus disc edition. I think I've got to give this to the Xbox. I mean, I think there's suitability in terms of the S if you want a smaller console for the living room. I think it's probably quieter compared to my PS5 anyway, that's for sure. I think the variants actually have variants about them. You know, the discless version, the digital version of the PS5 is essentially the same console with just a little bit chopped off. Sandy, you got anything to say? I mean,
I think
points to Microsoft. I'm going to use my Microsoft pen. I'm going to use my Xbox pen.
I think personally, the PS5 would win, just because at least its design is incredibly unique, and I reckon they'll replace that eventually down the line with something a lot more generic to try and steal some of that Xbox fan base.
I will give you the fact that it is more of a unique design. And when I look at console designs of the past, I think something like the Dreamcast, I think looks fantastic. I just love the design of the Dreamcast. The GameCube, I think, looks brilliant as well. PS2 Slimline, I think, looked fantastic at the time. But I don't know, the PS5, I think the size of it it's just too big.
Let's give the point to the GameCube. The best console, best design.
Well, you could say the Xbox Series X is a giant GameCube, right, Luke? I mean, it's not a cube per se. It's
definitely
game.
It's like 3 stacked, right?
Yeah.
I agree with Sandy, and personally, I was exactly the same in terms of the appearance of the console. That when I first saw that PS5, I hated it, but it has grown on me, and you've got to give them a moral point, I think, for taking
a moral point. I mean, how would you? I mean, okay, maybe I'll change this then. How do you think I should score this?
Oh no, it's definitely the Xbox, because you've got the choice, and there is that massive difference between the disc and the digital. You know, you pay your money, you take your choice, and there's no way getting around. You've got this massive PS5 console, but I have warmed on the design of it. But
I have one small counterpoint, and that is the Xbox Series S is not feature and hardware equivalent to Xbox Series X. So it's maybe the digital edition, but it's also less powerful. Whereas with the PS5, your disc and digital version are the same console, just one.
We are talking about the beauty of these consoles, not what's inside. We are talking about the exterior here.
It's only skin deep, Sandy. Beauty is skin deep. You know.
I will win another round.
It's not what inside that counts. So, no, good point. But we will get onto something like that. But that is
Indeed.
another episode of Console Clash wrapped up. That's 2 points to the Xbox so far. We've got many more episodes coming up, guys. So thank you very much for watching. But for now, that's everything.